What's up, everybody? This is Rob Cruz. I'm your host. This is the Transcending Sport podcast. I have a very special guest. I can't even believe she's on this podcast, but that's for another time to talk about that. It is Iver McDonald. If you don't know who she is, you are not really embedded in the softball world because she is making moves. She has made moves, and she's about to make some more. And I'm really, really honored to have her on the podcast. Iver, what is up?
Man, I'm happy to be here. I'm here with the Rob Cruz.
This
Can
is
it
great.
be any better?
This is great.
I'm getting you.
I'm so happy to have you. I'm so happy to have you on the podcast. This is like one of my dreams come true. It's like actually one of my dreams. I was like, I've been trying to get you on here for like a couple of years. It's been like at least 2 years. I'm
Man,
trying to track you down.
life has been crazy. Life has been lifing, but it's kind of chilled out a little bit. So
Okay.
here we are.
All right, that's cool. So I wanna start off by just introducing. Well, I already introduced you, but I want to talk about obviously. I want to talk about your playing days first, and then we're going to kind of work your way up because I always like to have when I have a guest on my podcast for the first time. I always like to introduce you to the audience and kind of go through
Yeah.
like a little bit about your background and stuff because obviously we can go right into some other things, but I want to because they may not remember or maybe they may not know who you are, the softball family that you came from, the softball
Yeah.
mecca that you grew up in, Houston, Texas, right?
Nothing
The
like it.
the
There's
mecca,
nothing
in
like
my opinion, the mecca of softball.
it is.
Tell me about your early days in travel ball and like right before you went to Oklahoma to play softball. Like what before you went to Oklahoma, like what was that like? What was the landscape in Texas like? And who were some of the players you
Yeah.
played against? Like what was that
Yeah.
whole scene like?
Well, let's go back to, I have two older sisters.
Yep.
Crystal's the oldest. She played at San Jack in Texas Southern, and then Sharonda came next. She played at Texas A&M. And M. And it's so funny because people are like, how did all three of y'all get into softball? And my sister Sharonda, she brought a flyer home from school. They stick flyers in your folder. And she's like, I want to play softball. And my mom's like, all right. So she signs up for softball,
Yeah.
8 years old. We watched her play for a season. We are like, we want to play. So
Right.
I
Right. Yeah.
started at right. I started at 5. My older sister started at like 11, and the three of us are just zooming around the softball field. And it was kind of like the rest was history. And so, yeah, South Houston is where we played a lot of our softball, and we were on those teams that were gritty. We were grinding. We
Mm-hmm.
were not. We didn't. We showed up to the field with a bucket of balls and made it work. We weren't the high dollar, high rolling teams. We were out there fundraising, doing everything just to get us to and from. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think having that like grit and that background of like everything was earned,
Mm-hmm.
made us really appreciate the fruits whenever we did get to play at the highest level. And so knowing that I had two older sisters who came before me, you would think when I got to college, I was ready and I was
Mm-hmm.
prepared. But no, man, that transition is hard.
It is. Yeah.
It's hard. You get to a program like Oklahoma and you're there because you're good, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
clearly, most of us were highly recruited athletes. We had several choices and we chose to be there. And so you go there and your world is flipped upside down because now you are going from a pretty good athlete to an elite 1% athlete,
Right.
and everything is focused on the little things. And so I think you have to fight that doubt, the doubt of like, okay, am I good enough to be here? Am I supposed to be here? I've got to fix my throw. I've
Mm-hmm.
got to fix how I hit. I was a right-handed hitter, and I was like, I do not want to be a slapper. And when I got there, she's like, all right, turn that thing around. Here we go.
That's funny. That's funny.
So and then I came in with this big, huge crow hop. I learned more in 1 year
Mm-hmm.
at Oklahoma than I've had in my previous 13 years of
Mm-hmm.
playing softball. Seriously, imagine that.
So
And
so there, so there
so,
was so there was a gap. There was a gap, and I'm wondering like, I still see the gap of like,
yeah,
okay, top high school prospect, right? I'm turning down this school, that school, this school, going to this school, and I get there and I'm like, okay, I'm behind.
yeah.
You know?
This is 20 years ago, so we didn't
Yep.
have analytics, we didn't
Mm-hmm.
have videos.
Mm-hmm.
I never went to a hitting coach ever.
Wow.
So, I
Wow.
mean, when you went to hitting coach, you weren't like a great hitter. Like you
Right.
really weren't good.
Right.
And now it's everybody has the advantage. I mean, you
Mm-hmm.
got defensive coaches, you have strength and conditioning, you have position specific strength and conditioning. I
Yep.
mean, back then we're doing Olympic lifts and that's it. We're
Right.
not doing softball movements.
Mm-hmm.
So the game has changed and progressed tremendously
It
to
has.
where, the girls have people like us
Right.
who come in. We're like, we're going to show you the way. We're going to
Mm-hmm.
give you the blueprint. We
Mm-hmm.
are going to meticulously prepare you so that
Yep.
that gap is way less. Like you're going to have a gap naturally.
Mm-hmm.
You're on your own for the first time. A lot
Mm-hmm.
is changing, but our job is just to look at them and say, okay, this is where we can close the gap. But then I know now with my athletes to speak, hey, you're good enough already.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm working with you because you have it, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
not because you're unable or like
Mm-hmm.
it's speaking that life into them. Like we're here because the hard
We're,
work you've already
we're,
put
we're,
in. Now,
guiding, we're guiding you. You got it, but now here's I'm guiding you to and mentoring you
yeah,
and your family
yeah,
in what
of
you should
course.
be
That's
right and what you should be doing. So let me ask you a question. Who'd you tell? Okay, you chose Oklahoma, but I'm curious to know, and I'm sure my listeners are probably maybe they don't even know that they should be curious about this. Who'd you turn down though? Who'd you say no to?
I my top three came down to Florida State and Texas A&M. And at the time, Sharonda was at Texas A&M, and it was one of those things where like, man, I'd love to go play with her, but also I want to go be my own person.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's really what it came down to with not going to Texas A&M. And M. And Florida State, I think man, I thought it was so cool. They did the whole like we have the Nike sunglasses and we
Mm-hmm.
got we got all this cool stuff,
Right,
and I
right,
was
right.
just like, this is, and you know what, Florida State, I had recently put out a post because
I saw the
somebody
post.
asked
Mm-hmm.
who my favorite player was,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember because softball was not on TV. It was the World Series and like maybe one super regional,
Mm-hmm.
the like 20 years ago or
Yep.
20 plus years ago. And so I'm watching Florida State. I'm watching black girls hit right-handed. I'm watching
Mm-hmm.
LSU fly around the field. And that was the first time outside of seeing, my sisters, seeing other people actually play at a very high level. And so from then on, like Florida State had really was like stuck in my
Mm-hmm.
brain. And I think that it being a little bit further probably just threw me off. But I will say Oklahoma was recruiting Sharonda, and I was in eighth grade. And Coach Gasso came to the house on home visits back when
Wow.
they
I
didn't know
remember
home
those home
visits.
visit days. I remember that.
Joanne came to the house,
Mm-hmm.
and Coach Gasso came to the house, and so Gasso's sitting, in our living room. I'm in eighth grade, and she pops in the tape, the VHS tape.
Wow.
She pops in the tape of them winning the 2000 national championship. And to be honest, from then on, I was like,
2000.
I want, yeah. At that point, I was like, I want to go there. Like she was selling, like in the process, she actually sold me on her program when she was there for Sharonda, but I was like, oh my gosh, this looks so cool.
Chills.
I was
Chills.
like, this is legit. This is legit.
So let me
So
ask you this, because what was it like? Okay, because I mean, right now we have social media, which brings the game of fast pitch softball right to your phone, to your face.
yeah,
If LSU hits a home run, 10, 10 minutes later, it's on their Instagram page with a highlight reel.
yeah,
10 minutes
right,
later, I'm
yeah,
like, how'd they do that fast? Whereas before, you
yeah,
would you wouldn't even know that somebody hit a home run. You look up stats. You couldn't even
right.
look up stats. There was no internet.
No,
The stats weren't on the
it was
internet. So like
yeah,
so now we have this like this picture, and Patty Gasso is this like this iconic, almost like untouchable person. I mean, what she's done for the game of softball, what she's done for
yeah,
women in coaching, right? Women in coaching in terms of like salary caps and things like that, salaries. You played for her in her earlier years. What was it like playing for her? Her as your head
yeah.
coach?
It was a different I mean, I wouldn't say it was too different from probably what it is now, but I will say that I was a player that was very, very goofy, and I played very loose. And
Mm-hmm.
I dance, I sing, I play with this. I'm like, let's go. You know,
Right,
this is
right.
how
Mm-hmm.
this is how I get the best of me. And so
Mm-hmm.
at that time, it was like you got to fit in this mold of like, we're very serious here. This is business. No dancing, no standing on the field. And seriously, and like and you learn though, you know, even
Mm-hmm.
the greatest coaches on all levels, they have to adapt to the new age of kids. You know
Mm-hmm.
how the shift is happening. That's the only way to be successful
Mm-hmm.
is to be agile and adaptable. And the greatest
Mm-hmm.
and the best do that. And so we've seen that the program and many programs progress into something that, you know, they weren't 20 years ago, but still having the foundation. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? It's still very blue collar. We
Mm-hmm.
earned everything. Started with our black cleats in the fall. And we had to earn our white cleats for the spring.
Mm-hmm.
So it was things like that inside the program that we were like, okay, literally we earned our new gear. Like it was no, you know, this is Christmas for nothing. This was
That's right,
like, man,
right.
we put in work.
Put in work,
We
right.
put in that work. I know that the program still mirrors that, and that's why it's the championship mindset. And
Mm-hmm.
one of the quotes that was I remember in the locker room was the champion's biggest muscle is her heart, and
Whew.
so I think that the program still beats in that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Coach Gasso, like many coaches, have figured out how to adapt and meet kids where they are because that's the only way to be successful. I mean, if you just stay rigid, it's just not going to work for you. And
I think
so
this.
I think that yeah,
I think you know when I look at what she has done and so many other winning programs have done. Gino Ariamo in women's basketball, Pat
mhm,
Summitt in women's basketball. We talk about women's sports, and then even individual women's sports. You look at some of the great tennis players. Obviously, you think of Venus and Serena Williams. You think of Coco and some of the people that are coming up now. Tiger, like
yeah,
individual athletes. It seems,
hmm
and I'm on the outside looking in. You know, I've had an opportunity to be around Patty Gasso a little bit years ago, but I feel like she was able to recruit mindset because I feel like it's easier to
mm,
recruit mindset than it is to develop mindset.
yeah,
And in our line of work, I think we understand that we have to develop mindset because
yes, yeah, that's great.
everybody doesn't get mindset development at home at their kitchen table
Yeah,
the way that some kids may get. And mindset enables you to do so many different things, even outside of softball, as a person, as a human, outside of
yeah,
softball. But softball can also showcase, she's something different about her. She's got something different going on.
yeah,
And I believe sometimes I feel like in the recruiting process with everything that's going on, I want to get into like the portal, the rate of transfers, parity in women's sports, parity, particularly
yeah,
softball, how things have shifted and changed, and the mindset has changed. But I feel like certain programs have been able to maintain mindset or championship mindset as being an intricate part of the culture. And then
mm,
you mentioned how culture kind of never graduates. Like it's like it just keeps going.
yeah,
It keeps we're maintaining it as we come into the program as freshmen and sophomore, right? We maintain that when we go out, and we show the next young people, and then they keep it going, and just like it just keeps going. So for you, my question now, I'm kind of getting ready. I'm trying to go somewhere with this. I know you're working with athletes. You have these programs. You have McDonald Fastpitch Camps. You have your Transfer U program. I know you're working with families on the recruiting side of it. And I don't want to get into coupling development with player development with. I hate using the word college recruiting.
mm,
I like using college selection
okay,
when I'm talking to kids about it because I feel
yeah,
like you're just trying to get people to say, hey, please like me, and
yeah,
you're not empowered anymore. Like you're not empowered
right,
to make the choice.
yes,
And hopefully it could be your choice and not hopefully someone chooses me. That's a whole different situation. So
Yeah.
in your mind, how was it different? Obviously, it's different. How and then why? Development, recruiting. When you look at it from your perspective now.
Yeah, I mean, right now I'm trying to develop people
Yep.
because I know how much you need to show up as the best version of yourself
Mm-hmm.
and really understand who you are, especially in conflict and especially in circumstances that aren't favorable to you. You know,
Mm-hmm.
circumstances that challenge you. And so it's figuring out, okay, who do you want to be? How do you want to show up? And understanding that you may not control the circumstances around you, but you control how you show up in your attitude, you know what I'm saying? How you show up in your effort and how you show up in your mindset. And so this is what I'm guiding players to do is show up in their mindset. And so I teach them and I coach them on how to interview and tell somebody who you are, what you care about, what you're passionate about, and then to ask them the same questions. And on top of that, I want people knowing what type of coach they need to play for. Number one, what type of coach you need to play for, because if you recall, for instance, Tim Walton at Florida had the girls taking a lunch pail and clocking in and clocking out. I don't know if you remember that. He's
I
like, this is
remember
business,
that. I remember
clocking
that.
out,
Yeah.
right? And then like I roll up to, when Sharon is coaching at LSU, I'm getting to see inside the program. I got to see inside a lot of these
Mm-hmm.
programs. And so I got to sit there, while they're playing in practice at LSU and Florida and Texas Tech and all these different places she was at. And I remember going to the game at LSU and everybody's in line. I'm like, what are they in line for? They're in line to have Beth braid their hair. Okay. So
I know
two
this. I
very
know this. Yep.
you have the little Tarinas running around.
Mm-hmm.
They're in line to get their hair braided by Beth, and I'm just like, what kind of world? They're held
Right.
at a very high standard, and so these are two very different coaching styles. And so I need my players to understand, okay, what type of coach do you want to play for?
Mm-hmm.
And I have them ask, hey, what's your coaching style? What is your team culture? What is campus life like? Is
Mm-hmm.
there, find out if there's a Walmart around because you may want a Walmart, a Chick-fil-A, or a McDonald's or something,
You know
or a
what's
movie theater.
you know what's funny? As you're saying that, I always talk to my parents and players about they're looking at these logos, right? And they're just looking at the logo as a emotionless, personalityless
Mm,
icon because logos have that power. Like, okay, that a logo has that power, but then there's a person, a human who coaches that team and that program and leads that team and program the way that they lead that
right,
team and program. That has nothing to do with their logo and has nothing to do with the football team attached to that logo. So don't
right.
get it twisted. Like just because that football team for that logo is really special, doesn't mean the softball program is going to be as special because it's still a
Yeah.
person driving it. So it's like, can you play for him? Can you play for her?
Yeah.
Is it a match? Forget about the logo. That person that's leading that team, is that person a match for who you are slash want to be?
Right.
That's kind of I see it kind of similarly to what you see it because you've seen it
Right.
like you've seen it like this. You want to be able to be yourself in a program, but you have to play for a coach
Exactly.
who can allow you to be yourself in a program.
Exactly. Being like that is the main thing. And so this is why we have such a transfer rate is because people aren't going in being their authentic self and saying this is who I am. They're trying to be this version that they think the coach might want, and this is getting them into a situation where it's not a good fit. And so I tell my players, hey, we show up who we are and we find out who that coach is. We see how they react, we see how they interact. And you decide from there as you continue conversations like, is this going to be a good fit for me?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm trying to get them to play if they're going to a 2 year or 4 year to be able to be in a career and be in a space, in a place where they can fully be who they are because we know a lot of challenges come. And
Yep.
when you're already out of sorts, right? And you're already feeling insecure about being able to show up as yourself, then it's much harder to fight through those challenges, right? And
Right.
to get on the other side of them without having to leave altogether.
Yeah, I like it. I love 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 it. So let's think. Let's go into because I want to talk a little about this portal situation, and it kind of ties back. I have a theory. Here's my theory.
Hot
I want to see
mess.
what you think about this because I'm watching how these things play out. There are some teams that I feel like have always been teamy teams. Like this team is like a teamy team, and they're
Mhm.
very culture is important on this team. Everybody throws that word culture around. Oh, our culture, our culture.
Yeah.
But some teams are really about their culture.
Right.
And sometimes the problem that I'm seeing is when you start going into this portal and you're bringing in people that you didn't. There's a reason why you didn't recruit her to begin with when she was in high school.
Yeah. Hmm.
And now all of a sudden she's a junior or a senior somewhere else. And what's happening is you're bringing this person into your team's culture who was probably the problem where she came from, which is why she's leaving.
Mm.
Got it? And then you're telling your players while you're in the middle of a postseason that you have recruits on campus.
Right.
What? Like what? You bringing in people to come take my job? We're trying to win a
Yeah.
championship right now. So then there's that tension.
Cold world. It's a cold
So
world.
yes, because here it is. Ready? Because some of y'all, and I'm the coach talking. Yes, I'm bringing in people on campus during our postseason because some of y'all already know you're leaving and you already know where you're going,
Yeah.
and you think I don't know. So this thing it's a mess.
It is a mess.
this,
It
this
is a
thing
mess.
it's a freaking mess. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, players leaving. I think that as transfer you, we have to do our homework and see what happened. Because in some instances, it's like a coach that it just didn't fit. It didn't fit. It didn't flow. And sometimes the athlete is the problem. Sometimes it's just the program that doesn't fit, and sometimes the athlete is just having issues with a lot of her teammates. I was trying to help an athlete and found out she was voted worst teammate. I mean, I have never heard of that before. I wouldn't advise it. I wouldn't
Voted?
advise.
Wait, they had a vote?
Apparently, it was some TikTok. Apparently, I don't think it was an official vote. I think it was some kind of TikTok trend. TikTok
Oh
be giving
yeah.
these kids. TikTok really messes these programs up. But once we do that background work, that's the whole thing. Is we vet, like we vet
Yep.
players and we vet coaches because these coaches too aren't aren't always solid.
That's
I
right.
mean, and there's a lot of stuff that we know, that the general public does not know because it's like Fight Club. A lot of these programs are like Fight Club. Like you don't talk about what happens inside the program, and you don't let outsiders know what's truly going on inside because
Right.
we're a family, we protect each other, and so that can of worms usually doesn't open until the coach is fired or they have left the program as seniors or they're transferring and they're like, I'm about to blow this place up in the
Yep.
sense of,
Yep. Yep.
you know,
So
we've been doing these things.
so how many travel ball teams did you play for?
I played for like I didn't play for a lot of travel ball teams. I played for the Mystics
You know where I'm
from,
going, right? Because
yeah.
I remember the Ronald McDonald tournament when
Hmm.
Texas Storm was this is back in the Larry Durham Texas Storm days. Yo, that
Yeah.
tournament
I
was
mean,
that was fire. That
Houston softball was legit. You had these
fire.
actual impact goals. You had the high
No,
voltage.
I know.
Uh, you had the Storm. I'm trying to think of who else we played against. But what we did was every weekend we played each other. We stayed in Texas and we played a round robin every weekend because I'm playing against Megan Gibson and Amanda Scarborough and every weekend we're all playing each other and we're getting better in that way. And I think Houston can still do that. Houston
They
has
can
such
still
high
do
level
that.
that if they just played a round robin
Why?
every
Why
single week,
though? Why? Why?
so
So
much better.
this is my problem. This is my issue. It's the same game that it is in New Hampshire, New Jersey, Georgia, Florida, and I'm just naming pockets right now. New England,
Yeah.
right? Middle Eastern Seaboard, South, Arizona, Florida, Cali, right? And I'm just naming different places. And it's funny how culturally, subculturally, softball could be so different in different parts of the country.
Mhm.
It's weird to me. Not weird, but so because Texas has a style of softball, right?
Yeah, they do.
Speedy, gritty, fast defenders,
Hmm.
a lot of lefties, right?
Yeah.
That's this Texas kind of, and it's always been that way in a sense. Cali is a little different. It's spinny pitchers, high IQ players all over the field who can play anywhere at any given
Yeah.
time, right? It's always been
Yeah.
that way. And then it's different when you go to different places. But and I think how has, in your opinion, how has Texas been able to be? Because let me tell you something. Like you could legitimately have top three teams. You can have Texas Tech, Texas A&M,
Yeah.
UT,
Yeah.
and you could at any given Baylor could be a pitcher away at any given time to be top 10.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you ready for this? And they don't even need any players that come from outside of Texas.
No, they don't. You get a few pieces from
That's
outside of Texas, and
that's crazy. Think about how crazy that is.
no, it's insane. And I've been yelling from the rooftops, like,
It's
why don't we
true.
just play in Texas? Just play in Texas. They will come. They will come. But it is so hot. It's so hot in the summer.
Yo,
I think that's
Atlanta's
one
hot
reason.
too. Atlanta's hot. So is Central Florida. There's hot places.
Yeah,
So
yeah, and I agree with you.
so so, so I asked you a question earlier about how many travel teams you played on, and I feel like years ago because fit wasn't even a thing
Mm,
years ago.
yeah,
I feel like fit is an excuse for someone to nitpick because we're looking for perfect. We're not
yeah,
looking to be adaptable and adjustable and being able to um, we should be able to fit in
yeah.
because
But
if
there's
you
so
take
many options.
there's so many options. So now with travel ball, because the travel ball culture has literally become, and this also happened in AAU women's basketball, the AA or men's basketball too. The AAU culture became college basketball's culture.
Yeah,
And softball, what's happening is the travel ball culture has become the softball culture. And
yeah,
so many coaches are saying, well, we can't even really coach anymore. I know, you can't coach. You can't even show emotion on TV. You can't even pull a kid for dropping a fly ball that they should have caught. Because they're going to
yeah.
go, and I'm not going to try to sit here and downplay mental health, because they're going to say, well, it's not
Right.
good for my mental health for you to pull me. What? Excuse me? So I'm supposed
Yeah,
to sit here and lose, and then lose my job, and I can't coach? So in a sense, it's a catch-22, but leaving is so easy now.
it is.
There are kids that have 5, 6 bat bags in their garage, 5, 6 different helmets from different teams in their garage
Yeah,
from 8th grade to senior in high school. So going to college and leaving,
yeah.
it's like, so what? I can leave.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest issues is that people don't practice. You don't practice, you don't develop, and so kids get on these teams and they're like, I'm not playing, I'm not getting better. Well, most people would say you earn your spot in practice. Well, they're not practicing.
They're not
So
practicing.
you have a kid paying all this money to be on your team and you're not playing them. When are they supposed to earn an opportunity? I don't agree that we're preparing them for college by putting them on the bench of travel ball. I'm sorry. You have to play to prepare for college. Now, do you fight through adversity? Yes, but there has to be opportunity.
Has to be
If
opportunities to
you
play.
put a kid on your team, and I fight this because I'm like, if you put a kid on your team, you felt like she was good enough to be on your team.
True.
So then you need to play the kid. You need to play the kid at least every other game, in my opinion.
Every
That's
other
my
game.
opinion.
Every other game would be a fair opportunity to earn a spot. But what about elimination? Then what?
I've had that's a
I'm,
tough one
I'm just
because
asking.
I've played the kid. I've
Okay.
played the kid anyways, and I've lost because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a tough crossroads because like, well, I put this kid on my team. So if the kid is not developed, then it's partially on me as a leader, but it's
Mm-hmm.
also on her for not
Mm-hmm.
showing up.
Mm-hmm.
So I see accountability both ways.
So
So
so how
that's
big should a roster be in the ideal travel softball world? how big should the roster be? Because only 9 can actually play at a
Not
time.
24. Right. And they're
I think
playing
20.
24 kids.
I think
You need to be
24 is
on their roster.
24 is 24 travel. I don't. That's going overboard. There are teams that have
I'm
20,
sorry.
but in this day and age, ready? I'm just gonna say this, and maybe you. I'm gonna just play devil. Maybe you're looking at it because back in your day, a pitcher can pitch. One pitcher will pitch 3 games that day. Am I lying?
Yeah.
No, I'm not. These kids are playing 3-inning games because it's drop dead at hour and 10.
Yeah.
Like, so they don't even know what it is to pitch a whole game, 7 innings, because there was no drop dead. You played 7, right? And then you could play 5 games a day, and that one person could probably pitch 3 games in a day, the whole game, and then go to short.
Yeah.
Right? I'm just saying. Now these players are like, pitcher only.
Right. And that I'm like, pitcher only when you're 14. 16.
Like, I don't understand that, to be honest with you. But so you can have a smaller roster. You can have a smaller roster when you only have 2 pitchers.
Yeah.
Now you have to have 5 pitchers. If you don't have 5 pitchers, if you don't have 5 pitchers in today's travel world, I feel like you can't. And you want to call yourself a national team, and how we define. And I've seen I know we talk about this all the time. What's national?
Right.
Define it. Is national a team that competes for a national championship and that's their goal? Or is national a team where players are coming in from different places to a team?
Yeah.
Because you could have a team that has, I don't know, a 18 player roster, and you have kids from 11 different states.
No, sure. Especially Midwest and more North, you see more of that. In Texas, you see a little bit less of it.
Yep.
You see more kids playing on a Houston team, but they have pockets where they practice in San Antonio, Dallas, Austin. And so that model works really well. You keep it in Texas, and then you might have one kid come from Florida or whatever because they're all committed to Florida or Arkansas, and so they want to play together. And so I think that is what we call the national level team, right? But they're also competing for the Alliance or PGF. They're competing in the top brackets and top groups. And their intention is to literally go around and play the best teams in the country because they are a part of the best players in the country. So that's what I would define a national team as, not just putting national and going to nationals, but actually being able to compete at a national level. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with that. You ready for this? I got something I was thinking about the other day. I'm watching, and I'm just gonna be honest. I'm always honest. Sometimes to a fault, but I don't even care. I don't. It's really hard for me to watch a softball game if it's not the SEC. I try sometimes because sometimes I have kids that have coached that play a different.
Yeah.
But and to be clear, I don't even watch baseball because I think it's boring and slow, and I'm not going to sit up here and watch guys who are batting .220 play in an All-Star game. Like that's just ridiculous. I would never be able to co-sign that. I'm sorry. You can't be hitting .220 and be in an All-Star game. In my mind.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that.
Right.
So it's hard for me to see that the standard of execution, hitting a relay, hitting a cut, taking an angle on a ball in the outfield, making a play.
Yeah.
To see the standard be so low, even at a level like the SEC. And everybody calls it D1. Oh, I'm going D1. No. Let's be clear. There's the SEC. This is me talking to people. Then there's Major Division 1 right below that. And then there's Southern mid-major. Right below that.
Yeah.
And then right below that, there's all the other all the other mid-majors.
Yeah.
Because
it's
not
definitely
just
tiered.
one. Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
But here's what
not all programs are created equal.
But
in funding.
In funding and player capacity for player analytics, in terms of how hard a ball's getting hit, how hard a ball's being thrown, how many swings and misses pitchers are getting. It's a real disparity. But here's what I'm noticing: ACC, I think it's partly because of the portal, because the ACC is in the middle, and they're getting players that are coming from the SEC, quote unquote, down to the ACC. They're coming from the SEC down to the ACC, and they have players that are coming from mid-major up to the ACC. The
Yeah,
ACC is going to be a lot more competitive this year than it has been in the past as a conference.
as a
I don't
conference.
think it's going to be as top heavy as it used to be. I don't
Yeah,
project the ACC to be as top heavy as it used to be, where it was like three teams that were the teams.
right.
I think it's going to be a lot more. Anybody can beat anybody, almost like just in the ACC this year. I think you're going to see like Duke knock, and they already have done it, knocking off some teams that you didn't think Duke was going to knock off.
Right. Now
And
I think Duke can. Now I think Duke has arrived to where
Duke,
Duke can beat anybody.
I know they can beat. I watched them. They can beat anybody.
Yeah.
And I think it was hard to say that for a lot of other teams in that conference.
Mm.
You know what I mean? But she's not gonna get out coached though. Like
Yeah.
ever. She can coach. She's not gonna get out coached. But still. So what do you think about the parity right now?
I think that the rich keep getting richer.
That's
I
the
mean, you
world
see
though.
what
That's the way the world works.
that's the way the world works. You got some monopolies going on. It's kind of like what happened in the NBA, several years ago. Everybody's complaining about LeBron, but best players want to go play with the best players, and now they got the money to be able to do that and the rules to be able to pull it off. So, I mean, and then you're seeing in a time where the economy is not doing great, they're still experiencing budget cuts though. At the same time, you have players making $1 million, but then budgets aren't increasing, and so you're having to figure out your travel and other things like that. And so I think a lot is happening within the program that even at the SEC does not have a well of money inside their programs to be able to
Yep.
keep doing anything and everything they want to do when it comes to the actual everyday operations of their programs.
Hmm.
I mean, coaches have been cut at the Power Four level because of budgets. And
Hmm.
so I think it depends on which program you're in, how you're experiencing this, but
Hmm.
there's a lot going on even at the Power Four level. And then it trickles down to where the resources just are not there. So yeah, that gap is continuing to widen in some ways, but in other ways you see HBCUs beating some mid majors, and you
True.
see some mid majors beating some Power Fours,
True.
and and you see one Power Four beating somebody 16-2 one day, and then the next day they lose 3-2. I
That's
mean,
true.
I think that there's so many different factors working here that it's hard to pinpoint exactly like how we're trending exactly outside of the thing that we know is the rich keep getting richer, but you always have that one sleeper team,
Hmm.
those one or two sleeper teams that can bite you at any time.
Okay.
So it's
I,
interesting. It's fun to
okay.
watch.
Okay. I'm taking up my pen and paper. I'm gonna hold you to this.
Okay, what you got? What you got?
Give me your 8 teams. One, two, three,
Oh no,
four.
no,
Yes.
no, no!
Yes.
I can't.
Yes,
I
you
can't
can.
do it.
Yes, you can. I got
I
one
can't do
through
it.
eight. Who's going to the World Series? Let's go.
Too early. It's
No,
too
it's not. It's
early.
not
I
too early.
can't. I can tell you. Right. I feel like I can tell you Tennessee's going to be there
I agree.
because
I agree.
I think
I agree.
I would
Can I, can I, can I, can we stop? Can
Tennessee
we stop at
as
Tennessee? Can we stop at Tennessee for a second?
okay. Let's
I
talk about Tennessee. Like
I
Tennessee.
watched I watched them last year when they had
Mm-hmm.
that was a huge coaching change
Yeah.
with right, huge coaching change, and I'm watching the hitters this year after last year with the new hitting coach, and I'm watching them this year with the new hitting
Mm-hmm.
coach, and they actually look like the hitters, like they actually have an actual approach at the plate.
Yeah.
Whereas last year they didn't look like they had an approach. They looked lost.
Mm.
So I think either something happened there with coach player buy-in, connectivity.
Yeah.
Something happened in the
Mm-hmm.
locker room or with the player coach relationship. I'm not sure what. I could probably find out, but I don't. It's evident. It's evident that they're different.
You see the, yeah, yeah, of
Yeah, it's
course.
really really fun to watch them play this year because they had a lot of games last year that I'm like, man, they should have won that game. You
Yeah,
know, like
they really did.
like there was a lot of games like
Yeah,
they could have should have won that game. You know, so like Tennessee
yeah.
is definitely a team that I would say I really want to see them in the World Series because when you get to a team like that that's playing this well right now in supers,
Hmm.
it's going to be hard to beat them twice.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I agree. I'm with you.
So who's your number two? What you got?
I get it. I mean, I feel like it mirrors the top teams right now. The Texas Tech. I mean,
So
you
Texas
just
Tech.
can't count them out. It's very they got the support pieces that they needed.
Can I say something about Texas Tech? What's different about them?
Yeah.
And people can say what they want. I mean, you can say what they're they all they all the transfers and they all got poached. It's something about playing for a paycheck that's different when you're just playing for whatever you're playing for.
Yeah.
It's something about that, and most people don't even know what that's like. They do,
That's
and
interesting. It's in,
I think that's almost like a glimpse of the very near future when some of these rules get figured out.
yeah.
You want to get paid? You want it to be a business? Well, guess what? This is what it is now. Well, we can fire you too then. You can get hired and
Sure.
fired.
They're not, yeah, they're not technically employees yet, but we'll see how that trends and
We're gonna
what
see how
they
that right. We're
what
gonna see
they.
how that plays out. But I like Texas Tech. I like Tennessee. I can't see them two not being in it. If not, I mean, there's going to be some serious upsets happening if they're not there, or
Right. Yeah.
God forbid, some serious injuries, which I don't want to see either. So we
Yeah.
got one, two. You got Tennessee. You got Texas Tech. What else you got? This is fun.
Tennessee, like I said, Texas, of course,
Yeah,
Oklahoma.
yeah.
It's hard to keep them out. It's
Wait a
hard
minute.
to
Hold
keep
on. You
them
said
out based on.
Oklahoma? It's
I
going to
did
be
say Oklahoma.
okay. And that's not with that's
No,
not you're being. I mean, you're not. There's no emotions involved in that.
I mean, in what, Texas and Oklahoma?
No, in
Which part?
Oklahoma. In Oklahoma.
Yeah, I feel like you can't discount them. You just can't discount them. They just still have that like late inning. Like it's some. I think that's probably a big separator with Oklahoma is that late inning. If they have one out left, like how many teams can you put up against Oklahoma with one out left? You know what I'm saying? Like how many other
I will
teams
give
can
you
you
that.
compare?
I will give you that. But I'm going to also say one more thing. And I'm coming from this is
Okay.
coming from somebody who didn't play in Oklahoma, so I don't have any, you know,
All right. I don't know if you have bias, but go ahead. Go ahead.
I
I
don't
don't
have
know
any
if I
bias
have
because you know
bias.
why? Because I watch
Okay.
more women's basketball than I do college football, to be honest. So I don't have any bias. Like I'm just looking at it like from a strictly non-emotional. I have some coaches that coach these teams that I'm friends with them, so I want to see them win because they're my friends.
Yeah.
But if they don't win, I'm still their friend. So it's not,
Sure.
but I still have to be honest, right? So I believe that Oklahoma, now that they have to play an SEC schedule,
Yeah.
they get to go into the postseason a little more beat up, having to play more
Yeah.
7 inning games, having to play against full lineups with
Yeah.
power top to bottom, speed top to bottom, in a lot of cases, and to go up against better pitching for an entire
Yeah.
season. And that takes your toll on you going into the postseason in terms of just fatigue wise.
Right.
Mental,
And people
mental,
don't understand one game is like 7 travel ball games. Like
bingo.
one college softball game
The
is
emotional fatigue, all of it, especially on TV. Because
yeah.
the energy just sucks. The energy of the crowd, it's really you can't even explain it until you've been there, right? So I
Right.
fundamentally understand that. So in terms of talent, yeah, of course Oklahoma can they got a shot. But when Oklahoma goes to the supers, they're going to be playing a Tech, a Tennessee, a Texas, or somebody. They're going to be so you got to beat them twice. They're going to have to beat whoever they get there. It could be a Florida
Yeah.
in the super, right? It could be Alabama in the super. Some of these supers matchups are going to look like finals matchups.
No, they are. And they did last year.
That's what right last year looked like that. So now I'm like, yo, you got to beat them twice. That's the hard part. You know,
Yep.
so it's gonna be it's gonna be good. But yeah, I'm not gonna say Oklahoma shouldn't be in the top 8 getting there. I'm not gonna say that.
I agree with
But I'm
that.
gonna say that they're gonna go in there. They're gonna go limping into that. Whoever they go in there against Supers is going 3 games for sure.
Yeah, I
And
agree with that.
they're gonna be limping into that World Series like, okay, we're a little beat up. We're more beat up than we used to be in the last 15, 10, whatever, how many
No,
years.
for sure,
You know,
for sure. I think I I bet against one out Oklahoma
because
at Love's
The
Field.
SEC is a freaking war zone.
It is.
Like
There's no place like it,
whew, it's a war zone.
top to bottom. I
Then
mean, you lose 7 games and you win the SEC.
right. We only got 4. We got some other people out there. And there's some people that I didn't think were going to be there, but I'm liking what I'm seeing. Can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
While we're on Oklahoma, I'm glad I got you on here. Oklahoma alum, I love it. Why do you think Oklahoma plays this weak schedule in the preseason? What's that
I'm
about?
not okay. I think what's very interesting is I think Coach Gasso takes a different mentality because in the fall she's like, we just play each other. We play each other, and we're playing the best level of competition. And they would
That's
put
true.
those games. I don't know if you remember
Yeah, I
2
remember.
years
Yeah, I
ago.
remember. Yeah,
They were
yeah.
putting this fall game. They were putting their like red and white series. And it was on ESPN Plus,
That was
and
dope.
the
By the
crowd
way,
was
that was dope. Yeah, that was actually dope. Yeah,
like, I think that the mentality is that regardless of who we're playing, we are competing at our highest level and we are getting better. We're looking for the little things, we're getting better. It really doesn't matter who the opponent is because we have our goals, we have our mindset that we have to continue to achieve. And I think she can take that, I guess you could say, risk early on. And also the mentality of it's helping other programs. They're going to mid majors and they're selling out because we do. I don't know if everybody understands, but mid majors are in jeopardy of losing their programs because of all this NIL and revenue sharing and programs having to pay 24 million and them trying to match that for football. Smaller sports are in jeopardy. And so this is helping to save softball. I'm not joking. I'm like I'm it's real. Like
so
schools like
I've heard that. I've heard people
it's a
say
true
that.
thing.
No. I've heard people say that, but coming from you, I can receive it a little bit differently. I'm just gonna let you know that.
No, because I have friends who are in the mid major and they're like, we are worried. We are concerned.
Really?
Because when the numbers came down of how much they had to pay, like each institution has to pay into the lawsuit as well. So the NCAA lawsuit, the schools have to come out of pocket and pay that, plus they're paying the revenue sharing. Where does that money come from? This is why
Right.
they cut a lot of jobs
Yeah.
inside of their athletic department. They cut the 4th coach inside of some of these athletic departments. They reduce budgets at the Power 4 level. These programs are taking red eyes to save money, and so they're traveling these horrible schedules. And so you have the Big Ten and the SEC and all and Big 12, and they're adding cross country trips, but they're not increasing budget. This is all taking a huge toll on Power 4, but
Yeah.
then it trickles
Yeah.
to mid
That's
majors. They don't have the budget, they don't have the money, they don't have the resources, and a lot of times softball costs more money. I think at almost every program, but maybe
than what
like
you're bringing in.
10,
Yeah.
softball costs more money than it actually brings in. Even when like Oklahoma is bringing in millions, it's costing them millions to operate.
Yeah. I
So,
see that.
but you're getting it back in TV and things like that. You know, that's not always measurable and exposure, right? But the mid major is limping.
Yeah.
So
So we
you
got.
have,
Go ahead.
yeah,
So we got 4
it
schools.
matters.
We got Tennessee, Texas Tech, Texas, Oklahoma. I'm shocked. I want to see who's next.
You're shocked.
You leaving some people out here right now.
Well, I mean, I can only pick 8, right? So I'm using a cheat sheet right here. I'm using a cheat sheet because I'm like, man, this is
Don't be
tough.
going to the top 25.
Those first four, those first four are so easy, and then you're just like, oh. because you're like, because you still have the UCLA, you got to consider the ACC, you have Duke, because how they're setting up the schedule, for the tournament, you're gonna have. I'm not gonna say it's gonna. They're looking at regions, right? So you got to give some of the ACC a chance. They're gonna host at minimum. They're gonna get themselves into a. So I don't know. Do we put? You got to consider. And then you got UCLA.
So UCLA.
You got you still have Texas A&M, who's like, ugh.
So
They're
okay,
always
so where we at? We got who?
Yeah,
Who?
Nebraska.
I was about to say okay. Now you know what's
Nebraska.
funny about Nebraska? Like, so I'm watching. I got a really cool story. I'm in California one day, right? And what's the pitcher's name again in Nebraska? I should know her name. The
Jordy
pitcher,
at Nebraska?
Jordy. Right. So I'm in
Yeah.
California one day. This is when she was in high school. I'm in Cali at PTF, and all these coaches, literally every college coach in the entire freaking country, starts swarming over to this one field. And I'm like, yo, why is everybody over here?
It didn't take long, did it?
I'm like, why is everybody over here? They were like, Jordy Ball just decommitted. I think she did because she decommitted from Nebraska.
Now
When she was in high school.
remembering.
She was in
Now I'm
high school.
remembering
I don't know
how-
where she decommitted from, but I think it was Nebraska. And they were like, Jordy Ball just
I can't
decommitted.
verify.
I don't know where she
remember.
decommitted from, but she definitely decommitted because when I went to the field, all these coaches were like, Jordy Ball just decommitted. When I tell you everybody was there, with two coaches. It was crazy. I was like, I've never seen this many coaches at a game.
Crazy.
And she's pitching for like I think she's pitching for like Iowa Premier or somebody like that.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like this animated delivery. I had never seen her before. I never even heard of her. She pitching with this really animated delivery. I was like, somebody to keep an eye on and keep it. I want to see how that plays out. Anyway, when I watch her play, that's my little Jordy Boyle story. Shout out to her. But Nebraska, and I watch her play. Like I watch her give up like a home run or a double, and then she'll like next batter she'll strike out the next two. Because I think sometimes she like puts her foot on the gas pedal, and I think sometimes she just takes it off a little bit sometimes. So she's the kind of player that can like literally just will her success. Because I've seen her do it.
So good.
She's so freaking good.
How do you player of the year and pitcher of the year?
How you stealing bases? How you stealing bases going into home plate head first, and then you got to go pitch?
I mean, the level of athleticism that people don't give her credit. I mean, maybe they do give her credit for it, but let's just like shout out her athleticism.
She's legit.
It's insane.
She's a softball player. She's a softball player, and I feel like she could, if she makes it to supers, right? If Nebraska makes it to supers, which they will,
she got her extra pieces. Not she, but Nebraska.
She does have. They did build around her a little bit better.
Yeah.
They did a great job. But if she makes it to supers, you're not beating her twice. She's gonna be in every game because she's gonna literally get like, I got the ball. I'm pitching this game and next game. And they do have other pitchers. I know they do, but
that are good.
So I can't see them not being in the World Series. Like you got to beat them twice. Okay. I can't. The supers, yeah.
Can we pause on pitching and talk about how when I was watching, like Jordy would come from. They're playing different positions on the field, and they're coming from different positions to go in and pitch. So I'm watching like Nigeri. She's coming from first base to pitch. Florida State. Their left fielder came in to pitch.
Yeah.
Like same thing with Texas Tech. Caitlin Terry. She plays another position, and so seeing these pitchers come from other positions on the field to come in and pitch has been a highlight for me, especially
I love it.
With all.
You know why I love it? I love it because I always want the kids that I train who pitch and hit, because that's like having two full-time jobs.
It is.
As a child, pretty much, and I'm like, you got to let these coaches know that you want an opportunity to compete for a spot in the batting order. You gotta make that known in the recruiting process. You gotta have that conversation. Coach, I just want a
No,
shot.
yeah,
I want a shot because I believe I could be one of your top 9 batters. As a matter of fact, I believe I could be one of your top 6 batters.
yeah.
And I want a shot. And
That's what I saw.
and that's gotta be right. And that's gotta be at the fourth. You gotta be able to say, this is what I want.
Exactly.
And
I just had a player get recruited that way.
and you can't let people tell you. You can't let these travel teams tell you that you're a PO. You can't let them do that to you. Then I'm going somewhere else because I need at bats.
Or a catcher only. Like I'm starting to see a secondary not be developed at all.
I hate catcher
I mean,
only.
at all. This it's catcher only, first base only, and it's usually just the corner positions plus pitcher and catcher. Everybody else usually is cool with the secondary, but they don't play them there. So I'm like, how do we give these kids the best shot and develop them and help them to be ready for the next level? But you're only playing them in one position.
Kids
Like
need.
make that make sense.
You're right because kids need game experience at those positions. Not just reps in practice and ground balls in practice. They need runner on first and third. They need where do I go? What do I do? They need slapper experience, defending the slapper. They need they need all the experience of situationally infield halfway. They need those situational experience at the speed of a competitive game with all of the variables that are entailed in that game. And you don't get that in just practice unless you're scrimmaging a lot, which still is not the same thing. So I 100% totally concur with that. And I think that goes back to teams who don't practice.
Exactly. So I mean, but I think it's becoming. I think that's a little bit more forgivable because you ask a coach, do you want an athlete that has athleticism or IQ? What do you think they're going to say?
They're probably going to say athleticism.
They're going to say athleticism.
Yeah.
Probably 99%.
You know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say IQ. I'm always going to say IQ.
Well, I mean, most coaches are like, I could teach them IQ, but it's hard to teach them athleticism.
You can't teach.
So,
okay. I don't know if you can teach them IQ.
Athleticism?
I think that you with the athleticism piece. I think there's a certain amount of athleticism that you have to have for me to even recruit you to begin with.
Right, but is mindset and IQ the same thing for you?
No.
Okay, so I think if we split those, if the kid has the mindset and the athleticism, I think you can teach the IQ. You don't want to. You don't want to be teaching IQ.
Okay.
But if you have to choose,
if you have the time to teach IQ, God bless you. Who has time? I mean, because
you don't want that, right?
I've been at college practices. and watched practice, and you have a catcher who came from a top 5 travel ball team who doesn't know when to say cut.
Yeah.
And we got to spend our time in practice working with her on that because there's a catching shortage. There's a catching shortage, which is another problem, right? Because nobody has catchers smart enough to trust them in the game, let alone catch a ball or receive a ball.
Do you think that their brain was minimized or taken away when they stopped calling
you,
pitches?
you think you think you can teach a college freshman IQ? In 2026, with the level of anxiety that these kids have, you think you can do that? Good luck. I don't think you can.
I'm just saying, if you had to choose, so you're choosing IQ.
Athleticism.
I'm just saying you had to choose between the two.
Okay.
In a perfect.
You know why I would choose. Here's why I would choose IQ, because I would rather have a slow base runner who gets better jumps and who can read a ball off the bat than a fast base runner who gets later jumps and can't read a ball off the bat.
No, it's true. I've seen kids. I've
You
seen it with my own eyes.
what I'm saying?
I've seen average speed kids become fast because they make decisions a lot better. Let me not say fast. I'm going to say fast.
They make decisions earlier, right? They make decisions earlier. Yeah. They anticipate more than they react, and I think that's the thing that kids are learning in other sports that are coming from basketball, that are coming from soccer, volleyball. Because those games are like, I got to read the situation, and I'm taking the skill of reading and anticipating over to softball and competing against a lot of slow rich kids, which is what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said it. Okay, I said it.
Like,
but it's true.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, for me, and as coaches, we're trying to close the gap, right? We're trying to give them IQ. We're trying to tell them because I'm going out to practices and coaches are telling them when to go on a tag. No, sir, no.
How about this?
Like,
How about this? I'm going from first to third, and it's in front of me, and I'm slowing up before I get to second to look at the third base coach. Should I go to third? What do you mean should you go to third? You just slow it down 2 steps. No, now you can't come to third.
right, yeah,
And the kid is hella
right,
athletic. She's hella fast and hella athletic. That's not
yeah,
IQ though. You see what I'm saying? Like,
right.
you just lost me the game.
Like I had never heard like, all right, so a runner at second and third, for instance,
Yep.
on a ground ball, less than 2 outs on a ground
Yep.
ball, you're going, and you're trying to reset the play. You're trying to be safe at home, or you're resetting to where you're staying in a rundown long enough to where we reset to runners at second and third, and we don't lose anything.
Right.
I wasn't taught that till college. Now I try to teach my 14U kids that, but it's hard. It's hard. 16U is a little easier.
I mean, IQ
Yeah,
IQ would be like rundowns, first and thirds. You know how many games are lost on first and thirds and rundowns?
yeah,
Or base runners who don't understand. You should have scored on that double. How you at third? It's not
yeah,
about. That's not even about speed. That's not about athleticism.
yeah,
You see what I'm saying? Like, now, can I get a kid to
right,
have can I get in 2026 with the level of anxiety that our kids have now? Can I get a kid to be able to play on that level IQ wise when things are happening that fast without fear and hesitation and
right.
doubt creeping in? Because a big
Yeah.
part of IQ is the confidence that I know that I know that I know.
Right. And that's probably a big part of why we're seeing the mental performance become such a big issue. Not a big issue, but
It's more
something
than
we
a
need
big
to pay
issue.
attention to.
Absolutely.
Something we need to pay attention to, right? And that's why in my program we do a lot of the mental performance stuff. Like I know what gap I had going into college and what would have helped me, to close
Mm-hmm.
that gap on the mental performance side. And so I think that's important to speak about. And a lot of it though comes from preparation and coaching.
It does come from, and I really believe that some of that stuff is a 10 and under, 12 and under issue. Because I believe that confidence, and especially with young girls, confidence is reinforced. You are empowered as a 10 and under 12-year-old player. If you are empowered properly at 10U and 12U, you go into 14U, 16U, 18U with a lot more confidence. If it's
Yeah,
not, if it's not, then some kids never get it back. They never get their confidence back.
they
And,
don't. And
and,
you know
and,
what
and
happens too
yep, yep, go ahead.
that we don't probably talk a lot about is the high school, getting into high school and playing for a high school coach versus a select ball coach. Who you are in select ball versus who you are in a high school ball. You're playing out of position. You're playing for a coach you didn't choose. You're having to deal with a lot of adversity and a lot of circumstances that may not be favorable to you.
Ooh,
And
that's good.
it's tough.
It
It's
is
tough. This
tough.
is that the high school years because I have kids going on college visits, but they're having a hard time getting playing time because they play in Houston. A Houston 6A has a lot of Division One players. I mean, on a lot of these different teams, they're playing some good softball.
Let me tell you something. I came down to Houston years ago. You know Avila?
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay, so he was coaching at he also coached pro. He coached in the old MPF, but he was coaching at I mean he may still be. I haven't even kept up with it. Klein Oak High School.
Hmm.
So I went down to Texas to work with his high school team. I'm like, high school dudes bringing me down to work with his team. That's different. I don't usually get high school teams to fly me in. I usually get travel ball teams to fly me in, not high school.
Yeah.
So I get there.
Yeah.
He has 5 players, Power five on his high school team. I'm like, what
No,
what the hell is
they're
this?
also spread out, and they're spread out too.
I know this. This is crazy. I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah, in
That
one
was crazy.
district. I mean, yeah. No, they're playing some high level softball, so
Yeah.
it
So
gets
it's right. So
it
you
gets
may
hard
you may
out
you
there.
may be a high school player in Texas, and you might sit till you're 11th grade.
Yeah.
And if you're a pitcher, you might not even pitch until senior year in high school.
Yeah.
Perspective, people. Perspective. There's a whole country out there. You're over here complaining. You're over here winning state championships. We got people in the Northeast winning state championships as a pitcher who ain't going to pitch in college.
See, that's wild.
Just throwing it out there. It's happening all the time.
Yeah.
This is great.
Texas, different animal out here.
This is great. So we got three more spots to fill. You trying to get out of this? I'm not gonna let you get out of it. You trying to change the subject. All right. And I don't want to keep it. I don't want to keep you that long. But we got Tennessee, Texas Tech, Texas, Oklahoma, Nebraska, and we got three more. And I'm shocked.
All right.
I'm shocked. I just can't wait to see what you're gonna say here.
I was about to say, you shocked at who I haven't said yet, or who I'm gonna say? Okay. I feel like I feel like Arkansas has been knocking at that door, and I just don't know. Like, let's say I had to choose like a Florida over Arkansas, because they're gonna end up playing each other. Like, it's gonna end up SC. Are you're side eyeing me?
No, I'm not. I'm being patient. I'm being
side eyeing me. I feel like it might be Arkansas's time to shine.
My hands are trembling. I can't even write the word Arkansas.
We almost saw South Carolina go in last year, and I just feel like, man, you just can't count any of the SEC out. But I just feel like Arkansas has been knocking at that door. So if somebody, I don't know, just can't count them out. I'm trying to find a pack.
I mean, I wrote
a pack.
I wrote Arkansas down. They look good. The word Arkansas looks good on this paper. Like it doesn't look it doesn't look like it shouldn't be there. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I had a kid that was there. I had a couple of kids that are there. One's a freshman now at Arkansas. And the kid I was talking about from last year, I was like, and I know this kid can freaking rake. Okay, she rakes, and I'm like, how is she not playing? So I called up her people. I'm like, yo, is she hurt? They're like, no, she's not hurt. She's got some really good hitters in front of them. And when a parent says that,
yeah,
you know that parent gets it.
Yeah,
because most parents would be like, oh, I know, man, she should be in there. She's not getting it. You know, they're gonna have all the excuses, which is why she's so good because of her parent.
Yeah.
And I love the answer. He was like,
funny.
no, she's not hurt. She's behind some pretty good hitters.
Yeah, parents
and that's good.
Parents make a break. Parents will make or break you. I was telling a story the other day about my mom. Me going through attitude issues, and my mom never telling me in high school, right? High school, how little attitude. I'm the player that you want me on your side because I'm gonna lead, and you want me to lead in a way that has your back, right? We're all together. So, but I challenged too. So, yes. But anyways, my mom never said, oh, yeah, you're right. Never just talked a bunch of crap about coaches and was like, fueled any of my ego things. She, let me be and let me grow through it, but still had the expectation that, okay, you got to figure this out.
Right.
You know? And I think that's the difference between the car rides now versus, I'm not going to say now and then. I'm going to say with players and parents who get it versus those who get left behind. Because if you're in the car blasting your coach in front of your kid and with your kid, how do you think their mindset is going to be when they show up on the field? I mean, it's like a lose-lose. Like, I know these coaches.
You're right. No, you're right. And even if the coach is wrong, you still don't want to have that your kid / kids out there not being bought in. Because that's just one more thing that's distracting them from playing at their best.
Like, you can still validate the kid.
Absolutely.
You can validate. Because
absolutely.
I do. And I'm like, I don't understand your coach's decision. However, let's see what we can do about where we're at, you know? Right. And, because I do. I understand. I'm like, I don't understand this. Some of these stories I hear, I'm like, this is wild.
Yep. Yeah,
people are actually doing these things, but okay, now
we got two more spots, and you got some people that you have not. You got a couple of people on it. No, you got a couple of spots, but you only got 2 spots left, and there's a couple of people that It's like musical chairs right now. There's only two spots left, but it's like five people trying to get in them two chairs.
All right, I'm gonna take. I have to do an SC. I don't have to do it. I feel like I need an ACC pick, and I feel like I'm
Woo!
gonna take Duke over State.
Well, I will say it's hard to count Lonnie Alameda out because you know that she's going to
I
be
know.
in every game in the postseason, and she does have a young team. They've been talking about it. Her team is very young.
Yeah.
By the way, so let's talk about Florida State. I'm just going to put it in lightly. FSU light. She had zero transfers. Zero
That's
people.
it. Okay.
Ready? Zero people.
Wow, that's
Zero people left her school. Zero kids transferred. And you ready for this? Zero kids came in.
I I have to say that's top tier recruiting.
Thank you. That's culture, yo. That is culture.
That's the that's top tier recruiting.
That is
And I think there's programs, yeah, where
now
they
I'm
take
saying
like
to
two
you.
or three.
I'm saying to you as a recruit. I'm buying into you,
Yeah,
and I'm going to allow you to work through what you got to work through. And I'm betting on my recruiting ability
yeah.
and my ability to
Okay,
develop
so
you, and my ability to
okay,
develop
so
you. Huh?
we blame travel ball, right? We blame travel ball. However,
I'm
you
definitely
have a
blaming
lot of
Trevor.
programs. You have a lot of college programs to where if you don't play your freshman year, you're getting replaced. If you're not a freshman that comes in and plays immediately, I look at the trend. Look at the trend. If
I'm
you're
not
not a
disagreeing
freshman,
with you. I'm not disagreeing with you. What I'm going to say is, and this is what people don't understand. This is what I tell my kids. The goal is when I'm working with you as an eighth grader. I know you have not committed to school yet. You're an eighth grader. This is my goal as your coach, as your developer, as your trainer. You're definitely going to play somewhere in college. We don't know where yet
right?
because you still have so
Yeah,
much room to improve, right? But for me, the goal is I need you to start as a freshman. Everything that we're doing right now is not about this weekend in travel ball.
yeah,
You're going to do that anyway, because you're good. What this is about is when you get on that campus freshman year, are you ready? Did I help you get ready? Mentally,
right.
mostly mentally,
Mostly,
to be able to compete and be taken seriously as a spot in the starting lineup, because teams that are winning, right? If you're going to a school that's a winning team, they're not going deeper than 12 in the depth chart, deeper than 13 in the depth chart. Well, who gets on the dirt?
yeah,
The 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th player ain't going to see the dirt. Period.
yeah,
You got to be one of those top 12, one of those top 13 in the hitting department to even smell the batter's box. So now, everything
yeah,
that we do from now into that day you leave is crucial for you to be able to start. Because if you don't start, you're going to be,
yeah,
I'm sorry, let me just change the orientation here. If you don't start, you missed a whole year of softball that you didn't play.
yeah.
And now you come in as a sophomore, and they already got you grade locked. That's who you are. And you're lucky if you're a role player, because nobody cares about this. Ain't high school. Nobody cares about, well, she's an upperclassman. It don't work that way in college. Not for winning teams.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. And this is tough part because if you have a second baseman who doesn't play their freshman year, and then the coach brings in an All-American junior second baseman, what's there left for you there? And this is what's happening to a lot of kids.
You have to transfer down. You're gonna have to go mid-major or Division II or Division III. You got to go down to play because you have no stats.
Yeah.
You can't even say,
Yeah.
hey, let me go transfer over here. Okay, what stats you got?
Yeah. Unless you're a role player and you have 30 at bats and you know what I'm saying, you've appeared in games, it's tough. And you do have kids like that. Like we've seen Oklahoma, most of their team could start on most of their bench. We've seen the kids who
We've seen
transferred
it.
out. They
We've
go
seen. Yeah,
start
you're right.
and
You're
they
not.
don't play.
You are not wrong. You are
And they
not
play in the
wrong.
World Series too. And they're playing the World Series too. So
So does Florida State go to the World Series? Not because we not because we love Lonnie Alameda, because we love her, and I always want to see her in the World Series. But realistically,
Of course.
based on
I'm
what
an FSU.
we have in front of us, and just and I would
I'm gonna
love
go
to
with
be.
Duke.
Ooh, I was waiting for you to say
Go with
Duke because
Duke.
I like Duke for the World Series. Ooh, I like Duke for the World
I'm
Series
gonna go with Duke. I just feel like they've been knocking too. I'm taking some of the been knocking at the door teams
because
too.
yeah, some of these teams are gonna peak. We got Arkansas and Duke. Ooh, we got one more. Yo, okay. Whew.
Who am I missing? You tell me. Who am I missing? You tell me.
Okay, you got
Who's
Florida. You
missing?
got Florida. You got Alabama. We got UCLA. And there's only one seat left. This musical
I feel like
chairs.
I gotta.
It's musical chairs with one seat, and you got three people trying to get in that seat.
I need a
What?
Cali. I need
What?
I
Clemson?
need a former Pack.
What? Clemson?
Huh?
Did you say
No, no,
Clemson?
no. I said no. I didn't say Clemson. I said I need a Cali. I need a former Pack. So I'm gonna go with UCLA. I feel like you got to put one of
That's how you
the
doing it.
UCLA. Arizona.
So you're telling
I feel like you
me,
got to put a UCLA Oregon.
yo, shout out to Pat Murphy. This is his 30th year coaching. Did you know that?
I'm a Pat fan. I'm a Pat Murphy fan.
I'm a
I didn't
Pat
know it was
Murphy fan.
30.
He wins. But I'm gonna just tell you this, right? Not only is Pat Murphy going to win this year because he has pitching, and his hitters are going to be good enough that if he's in every game, to scratch out a timely hit here and there in their conference, right? So they'll be competitive,
Yeah.
right? But we also know that ESPN and the NCAA always conspire to make sure that Alabama's in there because they bring the ratings. That's going to be a
It's true.
factor.
Yeah.
But Florida, I'm not counting Tim out.
But I can only choose 8, and I didn't want to just go with the top 8. That would have been too easy. So I had
So
to.
you see, so
I had to,
Florida. So
I
wait,
had to expand.
pause. So you're saying
I had to
to me,
expand.
what?
I had to make
Okay, but
choices. I had to make,
so what you're saying, because you did go with Arkansas. So what you're saying is, if you put UCLA in that 8th spot, and I'm not saying that they're going to be 8th, like in terms of like the
right.
seedings,
Yeah.
but if they take the
Yeah.
8th spot, you're saying that Alabama and Florida aren't going to be in the World Series? Because I'm going to tell you right now, if Alabama and Florida are not in the World Series, 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, you got 4 SEC teams.
Yeah, I got Tennessee, Texas, Oklahoma. Did you put Texas A&M?
No, you didn't say Texas A&M. You mentioned it, but then what about A&M? Because I'm gonna tell you right now,
No,
I don't care
no.
how slow of a start A&M is having. They can peak in a month.
I mentioned that early on. I said you can't leave. I need Texas A&M. It's a tough one.
So
I need to put
basically, if you put UCLA in there, you got 3 people. You got Alabama, Florida. So you're telling me that we're gonna have a world? I mean, I'm just saying, based on your predictions, and this is not a bad list. This is not a bad list. But based on
It's
your
not. You can't.
prediction, this is not bad. This is not a bad list. It's not a bad list. I'll bet you 6 of these teams on your list will be in the World Series, and that's a good.
I feel like 6 is solid. Like I can't go 8 for 8. It's just not possible. There's too many. There's too many good teams. Too many good teams. I had to pick a couple who
I just
I had to pick a
I'm gonna be honest with you.
risk.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think Oklahoma's going to the World Series.
It's a possibility. But you can't like be
Clemson. So you
confident
ready?
for that.
Clemson was 2 outs. Clemson last year. Clemson was 2 batters away from. If the
What did I
ready,
tell you?
you ready for this?
Oklahoma has one more out. Go
Okay,
ahead.
ready for this? If Clemson's last 2 batters would not have chased balls out of the zone while they were ahead in the count, Clemson would have beat was it Texas in that super?
Oh yes.
Clemson would have beat Texas in that super. If you go back and watch it,
Yeah.
the last 2 batters that got up for Clemson, if they would have took those pitches they swung at, Clemson would have went to the World Series. I would guarantee you, and Texas would not have been the world champions.
I'm curious who leads in walks every year.
Who
I'd want to know that. The stats.
who leads in walks?
Which team
I don't
leads
know.
in walks?
I don't know. This is
Stats.
this is good. All right, so I gotta close it out with something good. So I want to close it out. You know, you made a post about
Which one?
about you have a lot of posts that were and we can. I mean, we have to do another one. We got to do another one. We definitely got to do another podcast. But you have another. You have a post that you just recently put out a couple of days ago, where you talked about um, growing up as a black girl and how representation was really
Yeah.
important, right? For you to see representation,
Yeah.
especially in a sport like softball, which doesn't still to this day it's getting better with representation.
It's getting better.
It's getting
Yeah.
better, but it's still not where I think it should be in terms of
Yeah.
all across the board and every aspect of it.
Yeah.
Yet, when I look at a lot of the leaders in travel ball, a lot of them are people of color, black and brown people,
Mm.
right? Across the board, Texas Glory, Corona Angels, Lady
Mm.
Dukes. You can go through and see a lot of good leadership and good representation. Um, the other ones, there's another Texas team, Jazzy organization,
Oh, impact goal.
Impact Gold. Like there's a lot of good things happening. So people like yourself that are still in the game now, making a splash, making an impact,
Yeah.
not just because you're donating your time, which you very well would donate your time, but making a
Yeah.
living at it because your time and your expertise and your passion is valued,
Right.
right? You understand what I'm saying? If you had some, if you can give us some inspiration or some words of encouragement and wisdom to parents of children of color or even players who are black and brown, what would you say to those athletes and those parents and those families? And before we close out,
Yeah. I mean, I think I don't tell the story a lot of the background of us being the only black girls on our team
mm-hmm,
generally,
mm-hmm.
and us being counted out and told. And we were even told the reason why we're getting those scholarships is because we're black. What?
What?
Like it was like a reverse thing. That I
Yeah.
mean, there's a lot of a lot of talk about us being in the position that we were in, but and people telling my mom like, they don't give full rides, they don't give softball scholarships, and I think it came down to my mom saying, watch my girls will.
Mm-hmm,
And that was my mom's mentality. We had the expectation that we would be excellent.
mm-hmm,
And so, regardless of what anybody else had to say about it, we were going to work hard. We were going to be excellent at
mm-hmm,
everything that we did. It was the standard.
mm-hmm,
And so, my mom speaking that life into us was super important to
mm-hmm,
our success
mm-hmm,
because we lived it and we believed it. And whatever anybody else said was irrelevant
mm-hmm.
to who we knew we were.
Yes.
And the world is
Mm-hmm,
going to challenge you when you're in a space where you're not supposed to be there. I mean, I'm also a pastor and I'm a female. And I
mm-hmm,
pastored in a predominantly white church when I church planted. I started a church on University of Texas campus. And so I've constantly been in trailblazing spaces where I've
mm-hmm,
shown up and been like, I'm here. And I've been told I'm not qualified. I've got my master's degree, where I've been told you are qualified, but we didn't choose you. Oh,
mm-hmm,
okay.
mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm.
mean, it's been everything. It's been
Yes.
all over the board. I
Mm-hmm,
know the work I've put in. I know who I am, and I know what my intentions are. My heart is for people,
mm-hmm,
and I think if I walk away every day and I love people well, then I know that I've been successful, and
that's
that's really my benchmark for my life. And at
mm-hmm,
one point, I was challenged to not focus on changing the world, but focus on changing the world around me. And
mm-hmm,
that made things so much more tangible because I can do that. I
mm-hmm,
can reach people and I can and use my influence, use my platform for
mm-hmm,
good.
mm-hmm,
And so that's that's my goal every single day to wake up to be the best mom I can be,
mm-hmm,
the best person I can be, and
mm-hmm,
understand that I don't have to be perfect. It's not
mm-hmm,
about being perfect, but it's about my heart and
mm-hmm.
my intentions and who I'm trying to show up as, which is a person that other people know that they're loved after my intentions. Other people know that they're accepted for who they are,
Mm-hmm.
and that we can, bring who you are.
Yes.
We'll,
Right.
we'll
Right.
go through it
Right.
together. So yeah, that's what I would leave people with. If you can change the world around you and show up in love, then I think you see a lot of really good things happen for your life. Not challenge free because
Yep.
I am challenged daily.
Exactly. I really appreciate it.
Daily.
I wanted to say I'm really proud of you. you've done and you continue to do a lot of stuff. I'm so proud of you. And I obviously, you know how I feel about you, and we have this relationship that we have nurtured, and I've been watching you and the little one, and all your little ventures that you guys and escapades you guys go on. But I want you
Yeah.
to before we go, because we have to do another one. Like we're gonna have to do another one. Matter of fact, we have to
All
do
right. Yeah.
another
Yeah.
one like right before the World
This was
Series,
already
so I
like,
can
are
call you
people
out.
gonna watch?
No, we're gonna call. I'm gonna call you out. We're gonna do another one right before the World Series, and we're gonna go back through this list, and then we're gonna go back. We're gonna talk about what happened.
Okay. Okay.
You know what I'm
For
saying?
sure.
And that's gonna be fun to kind of go back and see that. That's gonna be cool. So I want to do that with you, and then but before we leave, I want you to let everybody know what programs you have, what they
Okay.
can, how they can reach you, how they can work with you, and whatever programs you have,
Yeah.
and all that good stuff. Okay, go ahead.
All right. So yeah. So I have McDonald Fastpitch Consulting. This is my mentorship program. This is where we focus on recruiting and personal development, which includes, the mental performance and leadership and all the qualities that they need to get themselves ready to be a college athlete. I also have McDonald Fastpitch Camps, been running since 2012.
Mm-hmm.
First one in Houston, doing recruiting camps. I've seen a lot of people come and go, but I think the rapport I've built in the community really matters to the success. And I'm quality over quantity. I keep my stuff small, intimate, and give girls opportunities to actually be seen and also develop. And then lastly, Transfer U with my partner, Christina Wiley. And so we're taking on JUCO athletes and four-year athletes. We're vetting them, vetting coaches and trying to find a good fit, this second time around. Or, for JUCO players, they don't have a portal. So JUCO and AIA, they don't have portals. And so helping these kids to, and with the transfer portal, it's brought this whole new level of complication. So helping families and getting the information out that they need that's going to help them make the best decision possible is what we want. We want to grow the game, and we want to do it responsibly in all aspects of what I'm doing. So yeah, I think I take everything that I've been through, teacher, coach, pastor, and put all that into what I'm doing today.
That is really awesome. Okay, final words.
Words.
Final words.
Well, I appreciate you bringing me on here today. We met about 10 plus years ago, working LSU camp,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, man, who is this guy? Like, who I never crossed paths with you, and I was
Mm-hmm.
like, man, so intrigued by all of your ideas. I learned so much under you with
Mm-hmm.
like just this. I mean, I was talking about today something I learned from you with the vision and the balance
Mm-hmm.
and hitting in that way, and some of the nuggets that I picked up, some of the drills I picked up from you at LSU camp. So I think we're both doing great things in the softball community, and so I'm glad that we're here having this conversation. I look forward to continuing this conversation in the future.
All right, I appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right, we pulled it off.